Welcome back to Ladz City. I'm your fun uncle, this network's educational guide to all things Web3. And in this episode, I'm talking about the top 5 Web3 projects. Coming in at number 5 is Filecoin. The Filecoin network is a decentralized data storage marketplace. It is a peer-to-peer digital storage network where users can store and retrieve their data in a distributed fashion, with built-in economic incentives to ensure that files are stored reliably over time. The reason Filecoin is important is because in the current system, we have to use some kind of centralized data storage network in order to back up our files. Let's say hypothetically your laptop or your cell phone got swept away by some natural disaster like a hurricane or a flood. If you were lucky, you had stored your data in the cloud. So you can buy a new laptop, buy a new cell phone, download all of your information from the cloud, and you're good to go. In the current system, you would have to pay a monthly, if not yearly, subscription fee to either AWS, Google, or Apple's iCloud service in order to have that luxury. Well, here comes Filecoin completely flipping the script. All you have to do is donate a little bit of your hard drive space and a little bit of your computer processing power, and they will allow you to A, store your data in its peer-to-peer distributed network, and B, they will pay you for providing this service to the overall network. A little bit of a win-win, a little bit of a have your cake and eat it too. You can store your files in a decentralized fashion so they are protected from any kind of natural disaster, and you get paid by Filecoin for providing this service to the network. This is super awesome, and that's why I put Filecoin in my number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4 is Helium, or HNT. It is the people-powered network. It is a new paradigm shift for decentralized wireless infrastructure. What happens is you pick up one of these Helium miners, plug it in at home, and it acts as a repeater for its network, to which they have thousands of nodes across the planet, and they're trying to set up their own decentralized internet service. They're trying to cut the cord on the mainstream centralized internet providers, and soon you'll be able to surf the web on the Helium network. Now, the reason Helium is important is because what good are my cryptocurrencies and Web3 products if they're being utilized through the traditional internet means? What I mean by that is individual countries can restrict my access to my cryptocurrencies and Web3 products if they so choose by manipulating my internet service provider into doing so. Now, if Helium can stand up their network the way they dream, that means we don't have to run the risk of individual countries shutting off our access to our Web3 products. That's why Helium is a necessary step forward. We need some kind of distributed peer-to-peer network in order for us to access our Web3 products. Because if we don't, then are they truly Web3 products if we're having to utilize Web 2 means in order to access them? And that's why I have Helium at my number 4 spot. And coming in at number 3 is the Brave browser. What good is a Web3 network if you don't have a Web3 browser to surf it with? Here comes the Brave browser. It has privacy and security built in at its core with a built-in VPN and a cryptocurrency wallet. It distributes its basic attention token out to its users over the network and is an active contributor to the Web3 space. Now, the reason the Brave browser is important is because currently we got to use either Google's Chrome or Apple's Safari or Microsoft's Edge network, but let's be honest, no one's really using Microsoft's Edge network. But all in all, we have to use some kind of corporation to access the internet. And these corporations are beholden to the governments to which they reside. No longer with the Brave browser, we can access the internet without worry of tyrannical control over our content. For example, in China, Chinese citizens cannot view an accurate or truthful representation of their government or their surrounding countries because China has put restrictions on what its citizens can view on the internet. No longer will we have to worry about this kind of tyranny with hopes, wishes, wants, and prayers. We can act now by using the Brave browser. It has a VPN built in, and it'll be our unfettered access to Web3. And the reason I put it on the list so high is because it's actively running. It is actively contributing to this Web3 space. You can download it and use it now. That's why it's got my number 3 spot. Our number 2 pick is Solana. It is a force to be reckoned with in the Web3 space because not only is it a massive cryptocurrency project with a vibrant and active play-to-earn ecosystem, their very own physical retail store, and their very own Web3 cell phone to which you can access Web3 apps, cryptocurrencies in a decentralized Web3 fashion. Now, I've been a huge fan, supporter, advocate, and promoter of the Solana blockchain for a while now, and even during a bear market, they keep coming out with exciting pieces of news, like this new retail store, they have this emerging and vibrant play-to-earn ecosystem, and now this Web3-based cell phone. And this picture that's starting to be painted by all these Web3 players is pretty exciting. For example, we have all of our files stored on Filecoin through this peer-to-peer distributed network, and we can access our files through the Helium network. And we can look at our Web3 apps, cryptocurrencies, and files through this new Web3-based Solana Saga mobile phone. And in this magical future that's being paved before us, we can cut the cord with our cell phone provider, we can cut the cord with our internet provider, and we no longer have to use one of the big players like Google, Apple, or Android for our cell phones. And this future is extraordinarily exciting because it's distributed, it is not beholden to an individual country, and it truly is this decentralized future that we've been longing for that's called Web3. And Solana is playing a serious role in this Web3 future, and that's why I have it at my number 2 spot. And coming in at number 1 is Ethereum. Ethereum is a token that needs no introduction. It is the number 2 cryptocurrency by market capitalization, and it is also the mother chain to a lot of other Web3 projects. For example, NFTs originally built on Ethereum, play-to-earn games originally built on Ethereum. Ethereum also has the ENS.ETH name service, which is your username to Web3, where all your cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and play-to-earn assets are stored. But if that's not all, Ethereum is also the mother chain to massive projects in the Web3 space like Polygon-matic and Ocean Protocol. Now, the reason I put Ethereum at the number 1 spot is because it's been through it all. Unlike the other cryptocurrencies and Web3 projects on the list, Ethereum has actually been through a bear market. And after doing so, it continued to maintain its number 2 spot behind Bitcoin. But it's done what Bitcoin hasn't been able to do. It's innovated. It came out with smart contracts where NFTs and play-to-earn games were spawned. And it's also the backbone to other massive cryptocurrencies and Web3 projects like Polygon-matic and Ocean Protocol, just to name a few. And so it's all of these reasons combined that I have this strong thesis statement that Ethereum will be around for 10, if not 20 years, and will continue to be a power player in the next advent of the internet that we're calling Web3. We have a real riot in NFT news as Starbucks teases its new loyalty program. A CryptoPunk gets split into 56,000 pieces, and the NFT market projected to reach $200 billion by 2030. And for our first story, we have a controversial one as Tiffany sells out all 250 NFTiffs for about $50,000 each. The reason this is so controversial is just like this is all the bad parts of capitalism inserting themselves into the NFT market. My new friend Kane Mayfield on Speakeasy, the new show on Ladz City, he was talking about this the other day that like this is the same thing that happened to hip hop in the 80s or the black bluegrass movements of the 1950s and 60s. They got hijacked by capitalism, turned, whitewashed and gentrified into their own thing, and then they just hijacked this, intellectual property from this community and then utilized it for their own financial gain. And we're seeing it here too, where Tiffany is just coming in and shaking people down for money. And honestly, if you're the type of person that needs to spend $50,000 on one of these things to impress your friends, then you've clearly surrounded yourself with the wrong types of people. You were on a path towards squandering away your what could be generational wealth, and your children, your children's children will not have the skills necessary to hold on to that money because they'll be watching you spend $50,000 on an NFTiff. So this is just all the worst parts of capitalism, trying to hijack this cool thing, NFTs, that us grassroots people came up with a couple years ago. And so shame on you, Tiffany, and shame on anyone who buys these things. Hot takes from your fun uncle. Starbucks teases Web3 updates to its popular rewards program. Yet again, another multi-billion-dollar corporation who is hijacking this idea to their own financial gain. And we're going to see more of this moving into the holiday season, where everyone who has a loyalty program, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King, even hotels, Hyatt and Marriott with their rewards programs, we will see this NFT Web3 integration. And again, it's just a new way to shake us down for money. And they're doing it quite successfully. So these snakes hide in plain sight, and I want you, my nieces and nephews, to stay vigilant. It's just the bad parts of capitalism trying to shake out your generational wealth. Do not go along with those shape-shifting lizard elites. Animoca Brands becomes a primary investor of Liberty Gaming. On the other hand, Animoca Brands is a company that I have my utmost respect for, and I will promote them because they are blazing trails. They are pouring gas on this fire for us grassroots movers. They are giving money to these companies who would have otherwise been squashed out or picked up by larger conglomerates like Google or Apple. So Animoca is pouring money on these individual companies so that they can do this play-to-earn game movement the right way. So all hail Animoca Brands. Thank you for what you're doing. I hope you don't turn evil one day, but for right now, you've got my respect and this Fununcle's 5 Hawaiian shirt seal of approval. So keep being you, Animoca Brands. A slice of the punk, CryptoPunk NFT, to be split into 56,000 individual pieces. This is a common tool used in the stock market right now, where like Apple stock does a split, every couple years. I think Tesla just did a 20-for-1 split of its stock. And if they didn't do it, the stock would be worth $100,000, if not $1 million a share. And so splitting it into smaller pieces allows access to people who are not as socioeconomically fortunate. And it's kind of a goal for them. And, I can pick up a couple pieces of it this year, a couple pieces of it next year, with the hopes of one day owning a full piece of the pie. And so this is great in 2 ways, because it keeps the price of CryptoPunks high while also allowing access to people who had, there's a significant barrier to entry into buying these things. So splitting up 56,000 ways means that guys like you and me, us schlubs, can finally afford a piece of the castle. NFT market projected to reach $200 billion in 2030. Outrageous news to think about, because you got to extrapolate the math here. For this to happen, Ethereum would have to be worth a couple $1 trillion each. And that would mean Bitcoin is worth a couple $1 trillion each. The whole market cap is in the tens of trillions of dollars. And that would mean NFTs have a piece of the pie. $200 billion is a little bit more realistic for them to have. If you think about the current status of things, where the whole market is about $1 trillion, for NFTs to have 20% of that, that's unrealistic. But for NFTs to have 5%, or 2% of a multi-trillion-dollar pie, that seems more realistic to me. So this is just promising news that in the next 10 years, some really exciting things are gonna happen with the market. Explosive growth and generational wealth will be created. Just pick your horses and make sure you diversify, because the money is clearly pouring into this space. And my final story here, I want to end with a laugher, because CryptoDickbutts, Ethereum's NFTs surge 690%. There's a lot of jokes going on here simultaneously. First, CryptoDickbutts, that's funny. Also, 690%. No way it was exactly 690%. If it was, that's some kind of crazy manipulation, or I think this is just a journalistic ploy to get you to click on an article. It might have only been 500, and it might have actually been 750. But for them to pick 690, I see what they're doing. And I think this is just another one of those things, like, when a community comes together and they love a joke and they want to perpetuate it, things like this happen. Miracles do happen. So that's why I always take into consideration the audience, like the group of people who are behind a project can seriously sway things, a la Dogecoin and Shiba Coin, where the community just came out and they took this joke, a laughing stock of a cryptocurrency, and they made it worth several $1 billion each. And that's why you just do not want to write off a project without looking at its community first. And the CryptoDickbutts even makes me smile. So I think they're going to be around for a while. Definitely not the next 10 years, but they are going to they are going to survive this bear market at the very least and be a joke we are talking about to our grandkids in the future. And we got some serious bombshells in Web3 news, as Shanghai includes blockchain in its 5-year plan, Aave creates Web3 social media platform, and Andrew Yang Gang shouts it from the mountaintops. He wants Web3 to prove the haters wrong. And for our first Web3 story, what bear market as Andreessen Horowitz raises $4.5 billion fund for the Web3 ecosystem. Billions of dollars being scraped together by single entities to help fuel the Web3 movement. But that's not all. I got a whole list of Web3 investments that are being made currently as a Web3 startup aims for a $2.5 billion valuation in its latest funding. Hashlong Ventures raises a $100 million Web3 investment fund. Early Solana investor NGC Ventures raises $100 million for a Web3 focused fund. And that's not all. Web3 gaming platform on Terra blockchain gets a $25 million boost from FTX. So these massive billion-dollar corporations see the value proposition and the road that's ahead of us. It's an unstoppable force, and they're pouring gasoline on the fire to supercharge things by the billions of dollars. My nieces and nephews brace for impact because we are going to have a tsunami shift in not only the way we do things, aka Web 2 transitioning to Web 3, but the cryptocurrency valuations that we think are high now will be very, very low in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, just think about it. If all NFTs are worth $200 billion, that means that the broader market must be well into the trillions, tens of trillions of dollars in order to justify that. And so if we're talking about $10 to trillion numbers, then this $25 million is just snickle fritz to where it's really going to be. This is an investment that FTX is going to quadruple over the next 5 to 10 years. And same with these billion-dollar investors. They're going to turn that $4.5 billion into $20 billion, no doubt in my mind. And for our next stories, we're moving into countries that are doing the same adaptation. Singapore's low taxes draw Japan's Web3 companies. Last week, I was talking about how Japan is leading the charge. Well, Singapore wants to add their name to the list as they are opening their doors for Web3 companies. Shanghai's doing the same thing as they include blockchain, Web3, and NFTs into their 5-year plan. We're going to see more of these countries cutting the red tape and opening their doors to Web3 innovation, and it's just going to keep growing. Then China is going to say something, Russia, European Union, America is going to say something about Web3 and how it is an unstoppable force. We need to get out of the way and let these developers build. So we have massive investors pouring in money by the billions, and then we have country governments opening up the doors and letting this innovation take place. So these both factors simultaneously are going to make for a very explosive mixture into this next bull run. We're hoping as soon as 2026, 2027, and then on into 2030, money like you have not seen before. Prices are going to be insane. We have Aave creates a Web3 social media platform powered by NFTs to flip the switch. I love a little bit of marketing in there. If you go to my main story today, I was talking about this new Web3 future where all of our files are stored in a peer-to-peer fashion on Filecoin. We then access that data through Helium's distributed peer-to-peer Web3 internet service. And then we access all of that on Solana Saga mobile Web3 cell phone. And don't worry, we're going to have a social media app too on Aave. And so basically every single app that you think is useful in the Web2 space will be ported in some way into Web3 over the next 5 to 10 years. There'll be an Instagram, there'll be a TikTok, there'll be a Friendster, there'll be a Grindr, there'll be a Pornhub, and many more apps just like this will find their way into Web3. And it's just this really bright, shining future I'm excited about because we can cut the cord with all of these middlemen, all these service providers, all these monthly subscriptions. Just pay a one-time fee and I've got it forever. These NFTs are my property. This cryptocurrency is my property. I just lock it up in my own wallet on Web3 and it's mine. I don't have to pay a monthly anything for it. Same with my music, same with my movies. How great would it be if I could just pay a one-time fee and get all episodes of The Office? No more of this, oh wow, it's not on Netflix anymore, it's moved over to CBS. Or no, now it's not on, it's on Peacock now. I got to switch from Netflix to Peacock. No, I want to buy every episode. I want to pass it on to my children and my grandchildren. No more of these monthly subscriptions. Web3 is going to blaze that trail forward. And for our last story, Andrew Yang wants Web3 to prove haters wrong. I love this, that people with big platforms and who have kind of a lot to lose. I know Andrew Yang wants to do a political move. He wants to run for president. He wants to run for governor. And so to make statements like this are very controversial and can turn people against him, but at the same time can sway people in his direction. So Yang Gang, I'm all about it. His majority of his demographic root for Web3, cryptocurrencies, his technological changes like this. And I just love that people with a platform and with a megaphone are preaching it from the mountaintops that he wants Web3 to prove the haters wrong. Yang Gang, let's go, baby. I hope I get to see you in this next election run. And I just want to see more of your period. So thanks for shouting out Web3. Thanks for shouting out blockchain. Thanks for being you, and keep hyping us up from the mountaintop. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show. It's the Ladz Lounge, where I just get to kick it, update y'all about all the cool stuff going on in Ladz City right now. And I want to start with the latest show on the network called Speakeasy. I had the privilege of being on this show this past Thursday, and it was a absolute riot. It was so much fun. It went for over 2.5 hours, and we were chatting the whole time. Speakers kept coming out of nowhere and joining us on stage to talk about ideas. A lot of controversy was going back and forth. Kane Mayfield is a shining star. Of course, it is hosted by Easy Crypto, one of the most prolific Web3 journalists in the space right now that I have had the privilege of meeting. And Kane Mayfield, if you're not following this guy, you gotta. He's hilarious. I want webcams following this man around 24/7. The guy is a riot, super charismatic dude, and they are both co-hosting the show Speakeasy on NFT Live. It is a Twitter space every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got to check this show out. For those of you who do not know who they are, you will soon. Some of the most charismatic and inspiring journalists in the space know what they're talking about. They've been here since the beginning, and it is just entertaining to listen to. And the next thing I want to talk about is where I've been the last couple weeks. I have been in San Jose at the Crunchyroll Anime Expo. I was there for a little over a week, just working for the AV team, helping support them during this massive multi-million-dollar conference they had down there in San Jose. The real conversation was, I went down there with all intents and purposes of trying to come out with some fun uncle content, do some interviews, talk to some people promoting their NFTs or cryptocurrency projects, but I saw nothing, zilch, nothing. And it was really surprising for anime. These are these anime artists who, I just kind of like, wouldn't they have some profile picture stuff or some kind of NFT or blockchain something with their art? But no. And it really kind of like, I had to have this internal conversation with myself about the space that, there's some people who are avoiding it like the plague, anime who could definitely benefit from NFTs. And there is definitely an audience who would scoop these bad boys up, are just like, no, we would actually not want to associate anime with the stigma of NFTs and cryptocurrencies. Or maybe it's even the fans spoke out and said that they didn't want them to do it. Or maybe I completely missed the booth altogether, and there was a massive crypto and NFT presence there that I totally missed, but it would be surprising because I usually find them. But this is just kind of a shock to me that I went there for a week and left with zero NFT content. And for this to be a massive conference where a lot of art and a lot of cosplay was taken care, and a lot of mystical ideas and all of this perfect for metaverse kind of fantasy, and there was nothing, no augmented or virtual reality anime integration. I was really shocked, honestly, that this is maybe a perfect thing for anime to be utilizing, and they're just not at all. Maybe they missed the boat, or maybe it's all the negative stigma, or maybe it's because we're in a bear market. I don't know, but it really made me start asking some serious questions about the space. Maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe I'm blinded by my own hubris, or maybe we're just so early on that we are truly cutting edge technology leaders and anime just hasn't caught up yet. So it was an interesting conversation that I was having internally that I wanted to share with everyone in the NFT space, that I was just shocked. They definitely spent well over $1 million. I know they spent at least $100,000 just on housing alone. We had a 500-person crew, multiple stages, video walls, dozens of semi-trucks. I had a team of 25 people just below me, and for them not to have any NFTs, very surprising. I was what seems like the only crypto and NFT guy at the entire conference, and I was working for the AV team. I had nothing to do with the show as far as like a content standpoint. So it's very interesting. I had to bring it up. It was kind of shocking, and I wanted to bring it to the hearts and minds of my nieces and nephews. Maybe you have some additional information that'll explain it to me, and I just had to bring it up. Definitely a conversation to talk about. And in closing, I gotta talk about my project, Bytes of Paradise. It is live. I'm about to post the next 25 of these bad boys. Anyone who purchased my Gen 1 NFTs, you're going to get 3 of these bad boys. So please hit me up ASAP before I start minting these and selling them for prices. It's gonna start complicating things when I wanna airdrop you some of these bad boys. But the project is moving. I keep on adding utility to this thing constantly. The idea of putting on these VIP events has raised a lot of eyebrows and has gotten a lot of interest recently. So I'm going to put some more gasoline on that fire. I've already been talking to sponsors, specifically Rockstar and a couple other like clothing brands about, hey, I'm in Miami so much. I have so many VIP backstage options in Miami right now. So let's just put on an event in Miami, open that up to all my NFT holders, add that additional utility, and then in doing so, make that part of the ticket sales. As you guys know, I'm taking the profit from these NFT sales and I'm putting it into the prize pool. So the more people that buy these things, the more of these $100 prizes I'm going to start putting out there within the unlockable content. And so these are just chocked full of stuff. Not only do I have the prizes, not only do I have the backstage VIP access in Miami, and soon I'm going to work on LA and New York as well. Gifted and I are talking about the LA potential of things. And then also it's going to unlock West Coast Web 3, my new Discord that is just full of all my alpha information, stuff that I just don't have the time to make a video for. I'm posting in there. Anything from my money-making ideas. I just have a tab called Instant Money, which are all the signups where you can get money. Just put in your email, setting up an account, and they'll give you a couple bucks. Sometimes $100 just for signing up your account. So easy money. I want to make it so that everyone who buys one of these NFTs is getting their money back and then some. So support me, I will support you back. And the same thing with my Gen 1 NFTs. If you hold one of my Gen 2s and I come out with a Gen 3, you better believe I'm airdropping you a Gen 3. So support me early. You're basically getting to invest in me and all the projects that I'm doing moving forward. And so as I grow, these NFTs will grow, and so will your assets. And so thank you for supporting me. I'm going to support you back. Keep doing this good stuff. And honestly, I wouldn't be doing it without you. So thank you so much for the support, my nieces and nephews. Thanks again for tuning in. Do you like crypto, NFTs, and video games? Well, the fununcle YouTube page is your one-stop shop for all of my content across all networks and platforms. You want to make sure to hit the link down in the description below and join me today. You do not want to miss out on any of this content because I work diligently to demystify the complexities of blockchain technology.